In my circle, I've had the pleasure of meeting customer advocacy professionals who run programs that look like Oprah's marketing team dreamed them up. Now, they've got engagement platforms, loyalty tools, reward automation, NPS dashboards that blink more than Diwali lights. And honestly, it's a delight to be on that side of the room. But let me tell you where I started from. What if I told you my first ever advocacy program was built with $0, an Excel sheet with really questionable formatting, cold emails sent one by one, and LinkedIn, well, which was basically my CRM, my calendar, and my therapy session. I am Aparna, your host to the Loyalty Talks podcast. In nearly 2 decades of my journey in understanding customer marketing, I'm the strategist who saw advocacy not as a tactic but as a torch, loyalty as legacy, and customer voices as the loudest currency your brand will ever own. I've built programs that turn users into superfans, reviews into revenue, and just checking in emails into career-defining magic. I speak fluent G2, NPS whispers, referral triggers, and every version of can you share a customer for this slide. If you are in customer marketing or itching to break in, you've just found your people. So whether you're nurturing your first advocate or leading a global reference program, join me and my expert guests as we turn your marketing muscle into movement. No gatekeeping, no fancy jargon, just blueprints, battle scars, and breakthroughs. Let's build the kind of career they said was too niche until it wasn't. Pull up a seat. This is the Loyalty Talks podcast. So, yes, my first hands on customer advocacy program wasn't the most polished experience. No fancy platform, no gifting partner, no budget line that said, oh, customer happiness fund. And yet, it worked. And it worked beautifully. And I'm not going to leave you hanging with some vague, oh, it just worked for me mystery. I'll tell you all about it because I know what made it click. It wasn't magic, it wasn't really luck. It was all heart. When you build an advocacy program rooted in genuine intent, built on real relationships, and led with empathy over ego, you actually get to unlocking something powerful. Well, your customers. They're not just sitting around waiting for Amazon gift cards. Um, well, some might be, and we love them too. But yes, the real MVPs, the believers, they're just waiting for someone, actually, anyone, to notice the love they already have for your product, your mission, your team. They don't really need bribing, to be honest. They need belonging. So many years ago, when skinny jeans were still cool and I thought dashboards were optional, I found myself in the middle of my first real customer marketing challenge. I was at a fast growing SaaS company in the higher ed space. We were solving serious problems for universities and colleges and consortiums. And trust me, customers really loved us. Like, how do I say? Tattoo the logo on our heart kind of love? Yes, that's the kind of love we had. And one bright day, the CEO turned and said, let's build an ambassador program. And he turned to me and said, you are the perfect person for it. Okay. Pause for applause. No. Pause for panic. Because here's what came with that assignment. I knew a lot of expectations, truckloads of them. No budget, no platform, no swag. And one determined Aparna, a laptop, and unlimited willpower. So I did what any resourceful, slightly panicked, and highly caffeinated marketer would do. I pulled out my trustworthy Excel, dug into our happiest customers, So the great part was I used to go on a lot of customer calls. I had a sense of who all are happy. And wherever I wasn't too sure, I knew I had a team CSM to the rescue. So I sent individual emails like I was dating in the 90s, no templates, just pure charm. Um, if that wasn't enough, I also slid into DMs on LinkedIn. What most people might not know, but mail merge to add that fake automation, well, I'm sure the millennial marketers know about it. So, yes, I did that as well. Long story short, my ask was simple. Would you talk about us to your consortium? Would you take one reference call a month? Would you be open to giving us a success story and getting featured in it? And guess what? They said yes. Well, 80 to 85% customers did say a big, big yes. Not because I had a fancy program, not because I was speaking to them with a lot of incentives loaded in it, but because I was speaking human to human. I saw them, I thanked them, and I made sure their story really mattered. Now, let me be clear, getting your customers on board is one thing, getting your leadership to see the value of a zero budget program, well, different sport entirely. While blowing my own trumpet at a meeting, I was passionately talking about how the response has been, how keen our customers are, and how supportive they are with each activity that we're rolling out. While I got a few smiles for that, one of the board members asked, "How do you know this is working?" I realized they had a valid point. So, well, I created a new column in my Excel called Deals Influenced by Advocates. Very scientific, huh? Very official. I started tracking every closed deal where an advocate had nudged, been a reference, introduced us to a lead, or simply vouched for us. Though really basic, I thought let the numbers speak the love language of our CFO because some of our customers weren't just speaking, but also giving spot on demos as a reference, walking potential clients through their systems and implementations. Trust me when I say it, we had hit the jackpot with some of our loyal advocates. Just as I finally was gaining momentum with the tracking and influence and getting internal buy in, I ran straight into my next wall, advocate fatigue. Some of my biggest champions, the ones who cheered us on without, ever being asked, started looking, uh, how do I say, tired. Not because they didn't love us, they loved us, but because I was unintentionally treating them like a one person advocacy army. That's when it hit me. I needed structure. I couldn't keep asking everyone to do everything. That's not a program. That's chaos in a branded folder. So I did what Scrappy Aparna does best. I opened a new Excel sheet. I created a column for interests, listed down activities like speak at a webinar, write a blog, write a review, join an event. We had about 10, 15 options, but I never shared the entire list with everyone. Well, you might ask why. It was important. I wanted to curate an advocacy which isn't one size fits all. It's not like a menu. It's more of a mood board. So I did intro calls with every single advocate. Yes, even with my 50, 60 early participants, I actually tried listening into them, took a lot of notes, watched for energy shifts when they talked about what excited them, and then I curated just a few activities for each person, personalized it intentionally based on their vibe, their bandwidth. I knew two people, even from the same university, would not get the same thing. One might be hosting a panel while the other is featuring in a case study. That level of personalization made the program feel exclusive and I would say even magical. Until about 6 to 8 months when I felt something creeping in. Monotony. The structure worked, yes, the engagement was high, but something was missing. There was no spark, no play, no wow moment. I had no swag to give, no events to invite them to, no brownies, not even a glittery Zoom background to say, hey, you're awesome. And the guilt started to set in because these people weren't just showing up, they were showing up for us over and over again. And I knew they deserved more than quiet appreciation. That's when I knew it was time to shift gears again from personalization to celebration. I don't think I'll ever forget that one call. So I was chatting with one of our top advocates, a genuine ride or die product champion. And he laughed and said, if I had a referral mile for every time I talked about your product, Aparna, I'd be in India by now sitting next to you. And my brain just lit up. Wait, that? I think exactly that is what I needed. I hung up and I kid you not, I ran upstairs like a woman on a mission, started pacing in front of my CEO's office like a caffeinated Roomba. I think I did 5 laps outside his glass door before he finally looked up, smirked, and motioned me in with a raised eyebrow, like, okay, what now? I walked in, probably out of breath, and said, I have an idea. It's wild, it's emotional, but I know it'll work. He leaned back, gave me that, oh, you're really mad, but I'm listening to you kind of look. And I pitched it. Let's fly our top advocate to India, put them up in a 5-star hotel, let them experience the Taj Mahal, let them have dinner with you, and let them share their story as a global ambassador. Now, this wasn't about transactions anymore. I was pitching something more on the lines of transformation in advocacy. Not an incentive, but an experience. Not a reward, but recognition. We rolled it out with a bang. Campaign visuals, a global raffle, activity teasers that got people talking. Yes, universities, colleges, consortiums were talking about our ambassador program. Suddenly, advocacy wasn't a quiet little back end function anymore. It was the moment, a celebration. And as they say, the rest is history. I was handed a challenge, but what I didn't realize back then was that it wasn't just a task, it was more or less a turning point in my life. What began as a scrappy side hustle to keep customers engaged slowly evolved into the work that lit me up from within. I remember I used to think marketing was about the right campaigns, perfect creatives, and conversion goals. But this was different. This was human. This was about building trust, not traffic. No budget. I learned to get bold. No tools. I got scrappy. No swags. Well, I got personal and gave them an experience. And through it all, I discovered something that changed my career forever. If your customers truly love your product, they don't need incentives. They just need an invitation to be seen, to be heard, and to be celebrated. And when you make that space for them, not as users, but as voices, they'll amplify your story louder than any SDR pitch deck ever could. So, yes, that's what my first encounter with customer advocacy was. Next time on the Loyalty Talks, I'm diving into a conversation that every professional needs to hear. How to align your sales, marketing, demand gen, and customer advocacy teams without turning them into a turf war. We'll be channeling some wisdom from the legend himself, Bill Masiris, on building advocacy into the heartbeat of your go-to-market engine. If you found today's tea piping hot, don't forget to stir the pot. Share it, rate it, and bring a friend to the table. Until next time, keep turning loyalty into leverage with me, Aparna, and the Loyalty Talks podcast.